Hey you, Dave here, and I'm developing my skills with electrical type stuff by customizing some Funko Pops. Last time, C3PO got worked on, and since he can't be without his little buddy, we're going to work on R2-D2 and use some new wiring techniques. Well, new to me. If all goes well, R2 and C3PO are going to friends of ours that really enjoy Star Wars. I know they like Star Wars because they've got an awesome dog named Jedi. And that's an awesome dog name. Now, since this plastic feels pretty rigid, the drill holes are going to start small and then slowly increase in size. And all the reference material I've seen shows the backlight being green, not red. So that's what we're going to go with later on. Because the last thing I want is for R2 to be hanging out at my friend's place and some house guest says something like, "That backlight color is not canonically correct." That would be the worst. Putting R2 into the clamp kind of reminds me of that droid torture room from Return of the Jedi. But this is meant to help avoid scratches on the paint job. A Dremel is going to get those little squares closer to shape, and then an X-Acto will help clean out the smaller bits and tighten up the corners. A little bit of paint is going to hide where the cuts were made, and then it's time to start working with the lights. These are all nano LEDs that come pre-wired, which is helpful because they are tiny. Instead of the wire being covered in plastic, these get some kind of chemical coating. The circle lights on R2 are varying sizes, so I've got different clear materials to use. The red light is connected to a fiber optic cable, and then some shrink tubing is added for extra support. I love how you can send light from one end to the other with this stuff. So cool. I don't remember where I got this clear rod for the green light, and I wish the light traveled a little bit further because then it would be perfect to use for a tiny lightsaber. But as is, it works great for this. Painted the tip so it's always green, even when the lights are off. The blue light is going to be behind a piece of plastic that I saved from some packaging. And to soften the light, the plastic gets scuffed up on both sides. After I get the level of diffusion I want, it gets cut and glued into place. Testing to see where the light goes, and right now, it's everywhere. And since I want to control that more, some light blocking will get done with electrical tape. There's not much space in there, so the tweezers are really helpful. Since I want to grow at being better with electrical stuff, once I'm comfortable with the technique, I try a new one. With R2, the light wires are being connected together, and then connected to one positive and negative wire, and they will go to where the battery is going to be. Testing connections at every step is something I was taught to do, and when things work, it's the best. The plan is for the wires to go from the body, through the leg, and then into the base, where the power is going to be. The parts of the feet under the legs don't sit on the stand, so a second angled hole is made where the base peg used to be. And since the connector is too small for the space that the wires need to go through, a hole gets put right underneath, so the wires will stay mostly hidden. That last hole gets angled a little bit too, so I won't have to try and force wires to bend at 90 degrees. Made some room for the battery, the metal pieces, and the magnets that are going to hold the base plate in place. And I'm not quite sure if it's true, but I like to think the hot glue coming through the holes of the metal parts make for a stronger bond. That little cut on the plate gives a finger just enough space to pry it off the base and makes it easier to get to the battery. And here are the cutest magnets ever. They might be my favorite magnets, and they fit perfectly inside the old connecting structure. If you're interested, there's links in the description to all the materials. Once a shim and a battery holder are in place, it's time to start putting everything together. Hot gluing lights in place while trying not to burn anything, and then trim the fiber optic almost off camera, so it's flush with the outside of R2. A little bit of paint since the light is supposed to be red all the time, and since R2's big radar eye doesn't look as glossy as it could, I'm borrowing some clear coat nail polish from my daughters. Thanks for the contribution, ladies. Our snack break for this episode is peanut butter chocolate protein granola clusters. A 6-word name with half of them sounding nutritious and the other half sounding pretty attractive. Regardless, this tastes way too good to be healthy, and I accidentally ate the whole bag. in one day. It slipped. The wires go out the body, threaded through the leg. The spring gets put back in, and then I realize the wires need to go through the connector part for them to stay in place. So I make a hole, take the wires back out, go through the connector this time, and then back through the leg. You may notice that I'm gluing that leg on backwards right now, but I don't know that yet. In fact, I'm not going to notice while gluing the other leg, or the bottom of the body, or both of the feet to the base. Which, to be able to not notice something wrong for that long, it's kind of impressive in some ways, you know? They aren't good ways, but they are ways. So off camera, I took everything apart and put it all back together correctly. And thankfully, it didn't cause any damage. From here, I just need to solder the wires to the battery holder, a little hot glue to hold stuff in place, and now, it's fog machine time. There were a few unexpected detours along the way, but it turned out well in the end. Here's a quick shot of him with Golden Boy before they get mailed to a country far, far away. Thanks for watching and subscribe if you want to know when the next project gets posted. Regardless, grow the unique skills that you believe in and make for others.